Welcome to the Corporate Treasury 101 podcast. In the episode of today, we continue our conversation with Bart Hendriks, Head of Global Treasury Operations at CEVA. This is the last part of the full episode we recorded with him. In the previous episode, we broke down what a shared service center is, including technicalities, of course, and the treasury functions that could be executed from such a structure. We, of course, talked about Bart, CEVA, and what he does within the Treasury Department of his company. Today, we focus on a parallel yet very interdependent area to those two topics: talents. In the episode of today, expect to learn how to attract and retain talents in Treasury, the challenges and how to tackle them for a company like CEVA when it comes to recruiting A players in Treasury, what is a best-in-class treasury team and how to build it, how to grow and nurture your talents when they come into your company, how data science and data management has become a key skill in Treasury, and much more. Like always, if you like our conversation with Bart as much as we did, why not leaving us a review? Reviews are one of the most important metrics for a podcast, as they allow it to be higher in the rankings and allowing more and more people to discover it. Also, if you haven't yet, go in the link and download our free Treasury 101 ebook. We gathered all our learnings from more than 80 episodes and wrote them down in an electronic written format. And the best part, it is completely free. With all that being said, and for the last episode with him, please welcome Bart Hendriks.
That's very clear. Bart, that leads us in very nicely to the next section we wanted to discuss with you. You've got a lot of experience in building these teams, specifically in the world of Treasury. You've seen the churn that comes with people moving in, people moving out, the pain that comes with, I'm sure, for the leading teams. What's your take on the talent pool in Treasury and the best way for attracting the best talent and retaining the best talent?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think something unique about Treasury talent versus general talent, or do you think it's all the same?
I'm inclined to say Treasury is very special, but I don't have the expertise somewhere else. But if I look at Treasury, so it's a well-known fact that especially in shared service center, turnover is quite high. And we have the same challenges in India, Malaysia. That's a fact of life, even though I think we are able to retain our people for quite a long time, especially in our inbound, because they're part of the team. And that's very important to keep these people aligned, to really make them part of the team, to involve them in group discussions. For us, that's on a weekly basis. We have team calls, so keep them involved. That's really for shared service and make it very clear and specific what you would like to see and how they can participate in developing the processes even further and to make it more efficient. So try to empower them, involve them. That's for the shared service centers. Now, if you look at building a centralized treasury team, and I've tried doing that for the last 10 years in different companies, it has changed quite a lot, especially in the beginning when you try to set up a global team. The responsibilities were very operational in the beginning. You start as a very operational centralized treasury team, and you try to develop in a more strategic team, more value enhancing, as they say it. So more tasks which are really contributing to the strategic direction the company is going to. But in the beginning, 10 years ago, when I had to set up this treasury team for DELEC in the Benelux, I really looked for someone who was able to transfer cash and opening bank accounts. Very, very basic. If you look nowadays, while we are building our treasury team, we really look for people having a much broader focus, in the sense that they don't need to have a banking background anymore. They don't need to have a cash management background as a startup function. We need people who are willing to learn, understand our business, and are technology savvy in the sense that technology plays such an important role in our treasury function today that if people don't have any experience working with specific software or hardware or software programs like treasury management systems, it's all software as a service, they say. So it's all in the cloud. It's completely different than where we were 10 years ago. And we need people who can adapt to that, who can learn that very quickly, who have an experience in machine learning and data analysis. So the skill set of the people has changed tremendously. And these kind of people, they need different challenges. So you need to try to retain them in a different way than you did cash managers 10 years ago. So I don't know if that answers a little bit of the struggles we are having today.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is that you need to give them continuous stimulation, right? Yes. For the offshore teams, those are typically, they feel disenfranchised. They feel like they're not really part of the team, so you need to make sure they feel included. For the onshore team, for the people that are in your regional offices, you need to give them challenging roles, I guess. Right?
Exactly.
How did you? I mean, data is a big point generally in all industries at the moment. How much do you see the treasury departments getting unlocked by, this data-focused skill set that you're doing? Like, do you see, in your experience from so much treasury, more work getting done much faster, more optimization happening? Like, how big of an impact has that really been? Because if you're saying, hey, you don't even need a banking background anymore, you just need a data background, ability to manage large data sets and have these skills in managing cloud services, managing machine learning, AI, whatever. Clearly that's because you've experimented enough and seen the value that comes out of the data skills.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
No, absolutely. So Treasury is sitting on a huge pile of data. So we know much more of the company than the company realizes, in the sense that we know payment frequencies. We know we see cash coming in, going out. We know customers not paying on time. Everything is locked in cash. And so we have this huge pile of data, which in the past we didn't do much with. Now over the last 5 years, also senior management and also the other department have seen the value of this data, but it needs to be extracted from the data we have. So we need to make it tangible. We need to make it useful for other departments as well to make strategic decisions. So instead of being just an operating unit who transfers cash from A to B, which in the past it was all cash management did, and opening bank accounts and closing bank accounts, we're now much more focused on algorithms, on cash flow forecasting, on trying to interpret the data which we have and support sales and support procurement and support senior management on their strategic decisions, and also even on their customer selection or on their procurement, on their selection of their suppliers with the data we actually have. So we try to involve in our cash flow forecasting processes also our sales teams, our business development teams, to show them what's happening and to show them also which type of customers are paying on time. How can we maybe even further optimize our payment terms? So because of the data we actually have and own and which we can use, we are able to look over the boundaries, over our own treasury silo which we have, and try to share the knowledge, but also have an added value to the other teams. And this is just the start. We were exploring this. So within CEVA, we have a separate cash flow forecasting tool software called Cash Analytics. We are now globally rolling out the tool. The impact it will have, because it's also, like I said, using algorithms to learn, and it can be fed from your ERP system, but it can also make predictions for the future. It has a huge impact. It will have a huge impact also on sales, for example.
So Bart, leading on to that, maybe a bit more philosophical question for you. as far as I'm aware, there's no like data science and treasury, master's degree out there or anything like that. So typically you're going to have to take people with these skills, train them on treasury and help them grow and learn.
Yeah.
How do you strike the balance when you take these talents of giving people the opportunity to grow and learn whilst, getting results out? Because there's going to be a failure curve. There's going to be a learning curve in there as well. Like, how do you grow and retrain talent whilst continuing your operations and delivering quality to your entities from your shared service centers, for example?
Yeah, no, that indeed is a very good question, and because you're at a certain moment in time dealing with two type of people. You have your non-treasury educated data scientist who it doesn't matter where he works. He looks at the data and he tries to make sense of it and turns it into a valuable resource for the whole organization. It's a totally different animal than a typical cash manager who actually prepares transfers and opens bank accounts, which is still a relevant task within Treasury. However, what we do see is because of new technology, the shift from your basic operational treasury management to a more high-tech treasury data analysis type of function is moving quite quickly. And which means that certain tasks will not be performed anymore by people in the future within Treasury. I mentioned AI very quickly, but machine learning and artificial intelligence will have a huge impact on the conventional Treasury functions which we had 10 years ago. So there will be a shift to a much more focus on data, on collecting data and to be a more strategic partner to senior management by using artificial intelligence and machine learning. Because Treasury, in the end, it's just a process, and you can optimize a process and you can use machine learning for that. So, but we're not there yet. So as of today, we are still in this more schizophrene position that we, on the one hand, need people with real treasury and cash management background who knows how to open a bank account and who know how to do transfers and to know what an MT940 is and what SWIFT is and all these kind of things. And on the other hand, we are moving into the next period where we really need people who are much more focused on data.
And maybe just to rebound on this part, in the future, more or less near future, will it be more easy to hire somebody with a solid data management skill set to whom you will just need to teach and grow treasury skills with? Or it's still much more worth to hire somebody with a treasury background, as you just said, and teach that person the data management skill set required? What's the balance here?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the latest people we hired in the team have a much more data background than treasury background. But we still need people to open bank accounts. And that's because our counterparts in banks still require wet signatures. They're not there yet. So depending on the progress our collaborators are making, our partners outside, we can move more quickly to the more specialized functions. We're not there yet. On the other hand, that gives us a huge challenge because the type of people we are looking for, if we look at the data side of Treasury, try to convince them working for a Treasury Department in a logistics company if they can also find a job at Google. I mean, we're not sexy enough. Huh? So it is a challenge there as well. It's very interesting to say we need these data scientists and we need to make sense of our data. We're still a logistics company. We're still moving products from A to B. Mm-hmm. We're not sexy enough. I mean, to attract the biggest candidate there.
So makes sense, but it's also going to be one of the major problematic of the future, the logistics, with the growing population, with rarer and rarer raw materials and all that stuff. It's Absolutely. A very interesting challenge. And so you anticipated my question, but I'd like to push a little bit here. how do you attract them then? If, as a, I don't know, data manager, experienced data manager, I can say, okay, my option is either CEVA or Google. How do you attract them and retain them? Back to the first question we asked.
Yeah, no, we have one big advantage, I think, over these high tech companies, and that is that we provide a very tangible service. Which, I mean, even though you don't see the trucks on the road every day, you do see our competitors like FedEx, like DHL, like these kind of companies. So they're visible. You take them. What I would like to do, if we try to convince candidates or even people who just joined to stick with the company, take them to a warehouse, show them what we are actually doing, how the process works. I mean, it is, like you say, it is something going forward going to be even more important to in a sustainable way get products from A to B. So it's tangible. So it is but you have to show them. You have to prove it, and that is sometimes difficult. So we want to be out there. We go a lot to universities to try to attract them there. But I mean, we are in a bit of a disadvantage at the start because they don't know us, and they don't know how interesting the business is in logistics.
But that was super, super interesting. Anything else you would like to share with us? Either shared service center or the treasury in CEVA or the recruits and attract, retain talents in treasury?
Maybe a final remark, and that is attracting talent. We discussed that. Retaining talent is maybe even more important in this dynamic market. We see a lot of vacancies. We see a lot of also our own people being asked or being approached by headhunters, by recruitment companies. So retaining talent is very important. And to retain talent, what we've seen is that in the past, when you offered them a company car, a pay increase, that would help. You need to do more today. And one of the things in Treasury, which we also discussed a little bit now, is that it's moving very quickly. It's developing. So training people is very important for us. Giving them the right training they need at the right time. That's one. And the second one is to give them ownership. And that is very difficult in some companies, but especially in smaller companies. Give them ownership, make them part of the decision-making process. That is what really helps us retain our young talents, especially because they will leave in an instant. It's not because of the company, but it's because of management and because of the opportunities they get. So keep challenging young people in your team, give them the training which they need, and also give them ownership. And that's what we try to do with our team. It's working. That's how we grow.
Makes a lot of sense. Bart, thank you so much. It was super insightful, super interesting. We will, of course, put some links in the description of this episode. So your LinkedIn profile, the website of CEVA. Anything else, or where should people go if they want to learn more about you, about your company or the treasury team there?
Well, of course, you're more than welcome to visit our LinkedIn site of CEVA. We now have just over 1 million followers, so we're very proud of that. So people know where to find us, but we're very proud there. Go to our website. And if you need any more information, my LinkedIn profile will be shared as well. So that's fine.
This is awesome. Perfect. We'll put all this in the description.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.